Good morning. I'm here with Gabe from Provisions Coffee and also the person that's organized the Cars and Coffee this morning. Gabe, how are you?
Good.
Can you tell us a little bit about what Cars and Coffee is, how long you've been doing it, just where it originated from?
Yeah, so about a year ago, I've always been into cars since I could drive, and I was looking for ways to promote a coffee shop, and I thought I had the idea, like, why is Cars and Coffee, there's never really a coffee shop involved, you know? There's never really coffee involved, so I was like, if we can do a Cars and Coffee that's actually at a coffee shop, put on by a coffee shop, maybe that'll add a dynamic that maybe keep things interesting. And the attention that we put on to detail in the coffee shop, we kind of bring the same thing to the car show. And so I think that's why it's been successful. And yeah, we haven't looked back since. Been doing it just over a year now.
It's over a year.
Yeah.
I know the only other one, it's the Armature Works.
Yeah, that's an awesome one.
Yeah, not a lot of coffee there. It's only...
Yeah. They have the Buddy Brew truck set up and
Right.
everything, but it's not put on by a coffee shop, you know. And so I think that adds a little bit of a special element to it. You feel like a little bit, more at home. It's a little bit more of a welcoming environment, and that's what we go for.
And for those watching, Provisions Coffee is based out of Wesley Chapel, Florida, and you also have a location in Tampa, a third one coming up. This is the only car show within Wesley Chapel, or is that the most known one?
So within Wesley Chapel, they have a couple other car shows. I would say, I don't like to use the word biggest. I think this definitely has the most quality of exotic and higher end cars. And I really like the variety we always have out here. You got the JDM guys, you got the Euro guys, even the classics, man. People think, they see all the exotics down this row and they think that's all it's about, but we love everything over here. So.
And you also have an event at night as well,
Yeah.
where I went to that one recently. The turnout was insane.
Yeah, so the car turnout is about doubled, but the people turnout is quadrupled from Cars and Coffee. I think more people are just free at that part of the day. And I think people there's not a lot of nighttime stuff. There's a lot of different Cars and Coffees, not just in the Wesley Chapel area, but there's a lot of Cars and Coffee. There's not a lot at night, due to a lot of venues and a lot of organizers have issues with, people doing burnouts and peeling out fast and all that stuff. So that's limited the amount of stuff that happens at night. So I think when you create something that's a welcoming environment at night, people just flock to that, So I think that's the success for after hours for sure.
No, that's great. You have the morning time and the nighttime.
Yeah,
and
that's the idea.
And some special VIP type of ones as well.
Right, yeah.
The Cars and Coffee, has it opened up doors for you? Has it given you the opportunity to perhaps be in cars or places that you otherwise wouldn't have had the opportunity to?
It's funny you say that. I would say cars do that. I think Cars and Coffee has definitely done that for me in my brand and just me personally. But I think one of the things I enjoy about cars is just in general, it brings people together, right? And I think in business and in personal life, that's the most important thing. If you know somebody, they're going to do business with you. So the cars are just a topic of conversation or, something that you might have an interest with somebody else. And I think just because of the nature of cars, because even the least expensive car out here, as we know, they cost to maintain, and you have to, so I guess what I mean by that is the type of people that are out here, whether it's this GT3 in front of us, the Ferrari behind us, or somebody with their build over there they put hundreds of hours into, that takes time and dedication and effort, and that's a quality that I look for in people when doing business with them. So for me, it's brought me together with a lot of like-minded people that maybe are like-minded just in the way they do business, not necessarily the cars, but the cars happen to be there. So I'd say for sure it's definitely opened up a lot of opportunities for me.
What about collaboration with other artists, like photographers, filmmakers? Do you, for the events, hire out photographers or anybody to do the promo work?
Yeah, so we do. It kind of just depends. With Cars and Coffee, there's not a lot of money in it, in after hours as well. The bigger shows, So I try my best where I can to, spend money on photography and videography and stuff. That's honestly one of my favorite things about doing the shows. I love not only supporting the videographers and the photographers, but also showing the people that might not have made it, or even the people that were there, what it looked like. So I definitely try to find. I also try to work with a variety of different people. Like, I don't like to work with the same. I know, like, a lot of people have their video guy, their photo guy, and they stick with that guy over and over and over again. And I don't like to do that. I like to. I'm big on perspective. Like, all these different video guys have different perspectives, and I also love to see them out here in their craft, like building something awesome, like an awesome video. So for sure, we definitely hire media.
How does it feel after it's been over a year of hosting these events? I'm sure it's grown since when you started till now.
Yeah.
What have you seen in terms of the culture that, I guess it's a positive? Normally car people tend to get a bad rep.
Yeah.
But what do you feel the community has gained from having these events?
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up, because I've almost like forgot about that, because that was one of the reasons why we started Provisions Cars and Coffee, was because to create a safe place for enthusiasts to come and know that, like, their meat isn't going to get shut down. That's been one of the biggest things for me, is like Cars and Coffee has happened monthly for now over a year, and we do our best. We do our part in hiring off-duty cops and security and our permitting and our insurance and all that. We do our part, but I think I go to a lot of car shows. I'm in the car community, and just the respect that people show at this specific show, it really impresses me. And I know we've been pushing that for a really long time, and we've had issues in the past, as every car show has had issues in the past. But I'm really happy with the respect that we receive from the community at this event. Like, there's really no issues at all.
That's great. Especially, like I said, there's just a lot of bad rep.
Yeah.
With the
For
cars.
sure.
And from what I've seen, what I've gathered here, people have been wonderful. They're open to talk about their car. And perhaps that's another question. What is a misconception about people who drive exotics? Because I think that people are afraid to talk to them, but for the most part. What are your perspectives on that?
I mean, my experience, I've only met a handful of people that were rude, and it honestly had nothing to do with the car they drove. So, like, I think a lot of times it's intimidating. You see someone with a nice car, and I mean, it's intimidating for me, so it's definitely intimidating for some other people that maybe aren't around it as much. And so I would just say, don't be weird. Don't be like a fan, that's something I say to people a lot. Like, nobody wants to be approached and, like, treated like a celebrity. Like, nobody enjoys that, even celebrities hate it. Like, regular people don't enjoy it as well. So I would say just be as genuine as possible. If you have a question for somebody, that question isn't bounded by how much money their car is worth. You know what I mean? Right. So it's like, just ask that question, and, if you see them maybe get annoyed or maybe, like, turn the other way or maybe, like, then walk away. Like, so I think a lot of people are just afraid to take that shot and talk to somebody. But I think 99.9% of people out here, and specifically exotic car guys, they're really nice. And that's their favorite part about owning the car, is a kid coming up to them and being inspired by it.
For photographers and filmmakers that come out here, because there's a lot of them taking pictures and getting great footage, what are some tips you think would help them stand out on Instagram? Yeah,
I like that question a lot, because it's something I deal with a lot. And for me, it's just a couple things, right? The same way, as a business, as much as I want to make this Cars and Coffee like exactly what I would want, right? You have to think about what the customer wants. So I would say the same is true with media. Listen to your customer or the person that's hiring you, and kind of ask them questions about the way they see the video going, so that you can maybe take and I'm not saying copy or get a script from the person. I'm saying ask them good questions that make you understand what their vision is for the video or whatever the content may be, and keep the beginning short. For me and my content, our content at Provisions engages really well, and the reason why I say that is because even still, when I look at our data for videos, only about 5 to 10% of people get to the end of the video. So if you're talking about a 30-second video, I'm seeing on a good video 10% of those people watching to the end. So just keep that in mind. You want to start the video off fast. You want to start the video off showing what the point is, so that, and I say video, I'll kind of go into picture in a second. If the person sees right away what the video is, and the first clip kind of grabs their attention, and they keep scrolling, maybe they didn't watch that whole video, but that first clip grabs their attention, right? And they that's where I see the value in video. For picture, it all has to do with the style of picture that you do. Right now, I think there's a lot of, with the new technology and new editing and stuff like that, there's so many different ways you can do your pictures. And in my opinion, to stand out as somebody that does pictures, since there's so many, pick a style that you have when it comes to your editing and stick with it. Because when I go and look at photographers, there's different people I'd hire for different things.
Okay, and that makes sense. Plus that good tip on the drop-off that I've seen it myself. Yeah. People will watch 10, 20 seconds and then the drop-off.
Right. So it's like if you can tell the whole story in that first part, obviously the rest of it's also valuable for those people that do watch on, and those are, your core people that have maybe been, the people that come out and, talk to me and are super happy to be here, they probably watch that whole video. But then the people that don't know about it, those are the type of people that maybe just see and then keep scrolling, So that's not to say that the end of the video isn't valuable, but
it's the attention span of people.
It's something I think it really is insane. You think like it's a 30-second video. And I myself, when we do our content, I'm like, this is so cool. And I watch it like 6-7 times before I even post it. And then you go to post it and it's like 30,000 views, but maybe 1,000, 2,000 of those people actually watched it through. So that's something to definitely care about.
It's wild. It really is wild. Question, any tips for anybody who's looking to organize these events that you've learned the hard way that they could potentially benefit from if they wanted to do it themselves?
Yeah, you need cops at any car show. I would say that's really the only advice. There's a million different ways to figure out how to have more security, have more structure. The two main things I would say, number one, you got to have cops. Number two, when you're figuring out the entrance and exit to your show, your layout, you don't want to have too many of them, right? You don't want to have people entering and exiting out of 6-7 different places, because that's going to create 6-7 different places you have to monitor and make sure people aren't doing stupid shit. And for me, what I find a lot of the time is people that come to these car shows and they do something stupid or they do something that's, maybe not the most respectful, they usually don't really understand what they're doing. 99% of the time when I see some kid two-stepping, doing burnouts, pulling out fast, I walk up to their car, and I would say 99 out of 100 times it's someone in high school, And so I would say out there to any enthusiast that's watching this, just educate people, like there's a time and a place for that. Like I'm a car enthusiast myself. I'm not going to say I've never flown down a street, done something stupid, but right. The time and place is not at an event, because you're going to prevent other people from enjoying the event. And that's the last thing you want to do, Go find a warehouse parking lot with your buddies, like go, an event, leaving the event is not the place. And I would say that's what it is 99% of the time. The kid doesn't even know what they're doing, really. And if you tell them, hey, listen, man, like, you're going to get this event shut down, you won't be able to come back and even park your car, because the venue doesn't want people doing that. Like, it's common sense, but it's not common for that many people. So just educating people. And usually when I have a conversation with somebody, it never happens again. So I would just say be patient with people. Understand that it might be a lack of education or a lack of understanding, and go from there.
That's great. And last but not least, can you tell us a little bit about Provisions Coffee for those that may not know what you all do, what you provide, and just a little bit more info? Yeah,
so we have 2 stores right now. We're about to open a 3rd, and we make all of our food in-house. So everything from, like we were talking about earlier, the breakfast burrito, the bacon, egg, and cheese, there's not a single ingredient that we get in frozen. Like, it's down to every single ingredient. All the kitchen and staff back there, great. Shout out to the staff. But we make everything in-house. So that's kind of what makes us unique from other coffee shops, because it's hard to make everything in-house. And, even the pastries, not just the breakfast, the pastries are also made in-house too. So that's what, separates us from other coffee shops, and also the car stuff and, all these car shows and stuff. We've kind of made it part of our brand. And, you walk in, you come to Crate on a random Tuesday, and sometimes you'll see, like a Ferrari parked in this spot and they're enjoying a coffee inside. So I would say between our car events, the homemade stuff, and that's really our brand. And we're about to have a 3rd location. We're not looking to expand, hundreds of locations, but we're going to start roasting our own coffee at this new location. So it's going to be a big step for us, and really just, what was the question again? Sorry.
No, that's great. It's information about Provisions. So the fact that you're roasting your own coffee, that's the next step up. That'd be great.
So just to end it off, just real quick. So started it was 2016. So that's what, almost 7 years ago, almost 8 years ago now. And we had our first location down on Bruceby Downs, where we're building our third location. So we kind of want to go back to that area. And then, we'll continue to do the car events. We'll continue to make everything in-house and continue to try to provide a top-notch experience for all of our customers.
I remember it was Buttermilk Provisions back then.
Yeah, it was back in the day. That's
great.
cool.
Last question. How do we find you, and how do we find Provisions Coffee on social media?
Yeah, so Provisions Coffee FL, one word on Instagram, and then on Facebook, same thing. Facebook's a little weird. You got spaces in your username, so Provisions Coffee and Kitchen. And then we are on TikTok, Provisions Coffee FL as well. We don't have a huge following on there, but I would say you can stay active with us on Instagram. That's where we post all the car meat stuff, all of our, monthly flavors and pastries and whatnot. So definitely keep up on our Instagram, Provisions Coffee FL. And my personal is just my name, Gabriel Morris. And it was great talking to you, man.
Awesome, Gabe. Appreciate it. Thank you.
For sure.
Bye.